everybody. This is Vince Miller. Thank you so much for joining me for these devotionals. We're just journeying through the book of Acts right now. We are in Acts chapter 21. I'm going to be reading verses 27 through 30. Here's how the text reads. When the 7 days were almost completed, that's the days of Paul's purification process, the Jews from Asia, seeing him in the temple, stirred up the whole crowd and laid hands on him, crying out, "Men of Israel, help! This is the man who is teaching everyone everywhere against the people and the law and this place. Moreover, he even brought Greeks into the temple and has defiled this holy place. For they had previously seen Trophimus the Ephesian with him in the city, and they supposed that Paul had brought him into the temple. Then when all the city was stirred up, the people ran together. They seized Paul, dragged him out of the temple, and at once the gates were shut." So to recall yesterday's text, Paul and some of the other men are completing this week-long religious purification, culminating in making a sacrifice on the temple grounds. But upon completion, there were some Jews present who had seen Paul probably on one of his journeys through Ephesus. They are there, just like Paul is, during the celebration of the Passover, and thus they spread a rumor that turns violent. Perhaps it was assumptive gossip, or maybe it was malicious slander, but it ends in Paul being seized and shut out of the temple. You know, as followers, we have to embrace the truth that sometimes not everyone is going to like what we say or what we do. This is a hard-learned lesson. It means we should stand up and speak up, sometimes when government or education or business or culture or tradition, in this case, doesn't align with our religious beliefs. And the unfortunate outcome is that some will gossip about it, and it might even become slander, defaming our character. You know, because we fear this happening to us, many will back down from saying and doing what is right. But the question then we have to address in light of this fear is the question, is it worth it? Is it worth standing down and being silent about God's truth even when our character may be at risk? I know this is a probing question to ask ourselves, but it is the one that we ask at that valley of decision. We are weighing at that very moment the worth of our reputation against the worth of the truth. And we at this valley of decision must make a sacrifice. It's either a sacrifice of the gospel or a sacrifice for the gospel. And keep in mind, Jesus never beat around the bush about the kind of sacrifice that it was going to cost us to follow him. His exact words were, "If anyone would come after me, then let him deny himself, take up his cross, and follow me." You know, I think Paul really understood the weight of those words. As we have followed Paul, we have watched as he has become increasingly more bold for the truth about the resurrection. We watched this happen over his missionary journeys. I think this is why he even went to Jerusalem, even though many persuaded him not to go. I even believe this is why he went to the temple on this day as he completed his purification with that final sacrifice. He valued obedience over his reputation. You know, I want to encourage you today to speak up and to stand up for the truth. Just do it in some small way. And then tomorrow, do it again. And then try it again the next day. And watch as your value for God's truth takes precedence over even your own reputation. And be ready. God at some point may invite you to make a sacrifice of a lifetime. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, like it, share it with someone you know. And I'll see you right back here again tomorrow.